All right, Brian Buescher joins us now. He's a candidate for the Attorney General's office on the Republican ticket. And we thank you so much for being with us, Brian.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
You've been a busy guy, so let's jump right into this. You say the best government, Mr. Buescher, is a limited government. What's that look like to you, a limited government as far as you're concerned?
You know, when it comes to the Office of the Attorney General, one thing I want to do as Attorney General is make sure our federal government understands what a limited government is. I believe the government needs to do what's essential to keep our people safe in our state and to help to make sure that we follow certain rules and regulations so that we protect our environment and also keep our state clean and safe for our future generations. One thing that I'm very worried about, though, is the federal government's desire to, I guess, regulate agribusiness in a much more aggressive manner. And that is something that's of concern to me, which really brought me to this race for Attorney General.
You know a thing or two about agribusiness. You work at the state's largest law firm, from what I understand, in Omaha, in charge of the agribusiness division there, that law firm,
that's right. I lead the agribusiness litigation division for QTAC Rock, which is Nebraska's largest law firm. And what I do is I represent farmers, ranchers, ag businesses, and other businesses in a variety of matters, including matters involving federal government regulation. I've been up against the EPA, the National Park Service, the Interior Department, the USDA, and a variety of federal agencies, and that's a focal point of my practice as an agribusiness attorney.
Mr. Buescher, this good time law, it enabled Nico Jenkins, a guy who allegedly killed 4 people in Omaha in brutal fashion. It allowed him to get out early of prison. What are your changes that you'd like to see to the good time law in the state of Nebraska?
As Attorney General, what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on making a legislative change to the good time law such that repeat violent offenders are not eligible for good time reductions in sentencing. Right now, pretty much every person convicted of a crime in Nebraska is allowed a 50% reduction on their sentence, regardless of the number of times that person has been convicted. I recall one time when I served as a prosecutor for a short time, an individual was convicted 3 or 4 or 5 times of a violent crime, and that person was still eligible to receive a 50% reduction on their sentence on the 6th violent crime. I think that needs to stop, and we need to change the law so that repeat violent offenders are not eligible for good time law reductions. And that would include Mr. Jenkins, who, if my proposed law change had been in effect, he would not be eligible for good time law reductions.
Right. Switching gears now, you live in Omaha now, but you grew up in small town central Nebraska, DeWeese, Nebraska. You went to Sandy Creek High School. How does small town Nebraska play into your campaign and maybe potentially as Attorney General?
Well, one thing that I learned growing up on the farm was, first of all, how to work hard. And you'll find when I'm the Attorney General, I will work hard. I will work long hours. Why? Because I find the job very important. But the other thing, too, is I understand rural Nebraska. Rural Nebraska is very important to me. I actually spend a lot of time in rural Nebraska. My wife, Elaine, is from Bassett. She grew up on a ranch up by the Niobrara River. I, of course, grew up just down the road here in DeWeese. And we take our 4 children out here quite a bit just to visit the great outdoors. But more than that, I understand the needs of rural Nebraska. We need to make sure we have individuals in the Attorney General's office who can provide assistance to county attorneys in rural Nebraska. We need to aggressively fight for water rights. I've done that in my practice, and I'll do it for the state of Nebraska. We need to aggressively push back on federal regulation. I've done it for the state, I've done it for my clients, and I'll do it for the state as well.
Brian Buescher, running for Attorney General on the Republican ticket. Thanks so much for being with us.
Well, thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here.